Hey guys, today for this BG's fundamentals video, I'm going to be going over playstyle. Now the thing with playstyle and BG's, it's not necessarily the same playstyle you've been wanting to go for in Alliance War that a lot of us are very used to from just playing safe in Alliance War and taking fights slow like that. Now to demonstrate this, I want to use some videos of my own with Omega where I go for both the super aggressive, risky playstyle and where I go for the safe playstyle. And there is a place for playing safe in BGs. When you have a big matchup advantage, there is definitely merit to playing safe. But when you have a close round, which is a lot of the rounds as you start getting to more competitive opponents, a lot of the time just playing more aggressively, taking slightly less block damage from not doing as many reparries, baiting a special that has a quicker animation, learning all the niche things with how to control AI, with blocked hits, with, some more stuff that we'll get into as we watch this video right here. I think this is just a perfect demonstration of what I mean by really playing aggressively. As you can see here, we lock in with this medium light, and instead of baiting a special normally, I go for the walking forward. This is one of the ways you can control the AI. With the walking forward, the AI is way more likely to throw a special than if you're just dexing back, and the other thing this does is it gets the AI closer to their corner. So having the small things like that walk forward to bait a special, especially for someone like Kitty, of course, who you really want to do that walk forward trick, can make a pretty massive difference just by having that slight change in playstyle. And as you can see, I did the medium light and then parry. This is a nice trick when you're worried about controlling power and you really don't want the AI throwing a special, either at that moment or just a special one in general. It can help to push the AI to their special too. Now for Omega Red in specific, he's one champion that I think people play really way too safe in BGs in general. From a lot of the videos I've seen, one of the big mistakes people make is playing Omega Red how you would play him in War.
Now if you've got recoil tree masters on, this is perfectly fine in BGs, but in BGs generally speaking, you want to be going for the old playstyle where you would play aggressively and keep the opponent locked in the corner like this. And as you can see, doing these stand-up interceptors, keep Kitty completely locked into the corner, is going to give you a ridiculously quick fight. And there, again, we don't back off for the parry, we just let her come to me for the parry. It's difficult to do, it's a little bit risky, but when you can perfect strategies like that, you're going to be able to get a pretty huge advantage from just being able to play more aggressively than your opponent, which can make a lot of fights a lot quicker than you would think they're able to go, especially using certain champions like Omega who are very momentum dependent.
Now here I have another fight from my Vega Battlegrounds Championship versus Max. So here I'm doing a trick with my combos and my L1 to make sure I push Nick Fury to his L2 to avoid the special one. In this fight I optimized AI control pretty much about as perfectly as you can on your own part. Of course, AI does not always cooperate even when you do that. And then there's little tricks like that, throwing just that light into the block. As you can see, it immediately made Nick Fury respond, and throwing that medium combo into the block. Tricks like this make the AI a lot more aggressive, and this is things that we're generally trying to avoid in War, and this light whiff. Generally, us War players, we've tried to avoid doing things like this in Alliance War, even with it speeding up fights, because of that massive amount of block damage that you're gonna take from that. I mean, with the massive risk, not the massive amount of block damage, the massive risk it has with, if the AI decides to just walk up and stop holding block, and then there's a pretty big risk of getting parried or whatever. These little tricks like this to control the AI can make a massive difference, especially in a round as close as this. And as you can see, when this fight ends here, this match was super close. I had to be going for all of these little tricks to try and make the AI as cooperative as possible. It didn't end up being enough here, of course, but maximizing AI cooperation instead of trying to rely on just doing dashbacks and getting the AI to stop holding block and all these tricks that we've been using in war. Actively controlling the AI can lead to significantly quicker fights. Now, I've shown a few tricks with walking forward to bait specials, hitting block, both with lights and mediums depending on the situation, and animations. You know, obviously I can't get everything in a video like this, but just learning those little tricks to control AI is going to make a massive difference in how quick your fights are going and how reliable you're able to get certain speeds. And yeah, that's what I really wanted to demonstrate in this video and really get across. A lot of the time you gotta play with these sort of risky ways and get out of that war playstyle. And yeah, another thing to learn is when you can just play safe instead of going for a risky playstyle. If you have a matchup advantage, you do not need to go for this risky playstyle. I'll pull up a clip real quick to demonstrate what I mean by this, and I'll see you guys real quick. Alright, so here is my Vega Battlegrounds Championship versus Aiden. Now here, he has a low Sig Nimrod versus a Penny, and I have an Omega versus Sauron. So in this situation, I'm going to go with that war playstyle for Omega Red, to keep control of Sauron's prowess. This is a pretty specific example. You don't need to play as passively as this in general, but this is a perfect example of just taking a fight slow when you have that matchup advantage and just keeping a cool head. Sauron for Omega, if you can take the fight slow, is an extremely easy fight after the start of it, really. And as you can see here, you know, we're getting the spores locked in. I only lock it in at 5. I'm not going to try and go for the 10 lock in here, because again, I'm just going to take this fight slow and steady. Here, he does this, I get this sidestep in to control spacing, and then we lock in 10 swords. And instead of going for my L2, going for full combos, I'm just going to block L1s for the rest of the fight, keep blocking in that degen, and just taking the fight slow. This is a pretty extreme example, and not every situation needs to be as safe as this, but just having that peace of mind of knowing you have a matchup advantage and just staying in control of the fight and playing it safe. Because a lot of times with defenders like Sauron, for instance, he's the perfect example for this. The main trick with Sauron and why he's placed on defense is to try and get you to make a mistake, to try and just win from a horrible matchup, from having just a mistake happen. So with someone like that especially, just taking that slow and steady fight is going to be all you need to take that win. And yeah, I hope this helped you guys understand playstyle. I know playstyle is something that's a fairly vague topic, and you know, it's hard to really learn fully in a short tutorial like this, but it is definitely one of the most important things to improve upon, because, you know, playstyle is, at the end of the day, the #1 factor, really. You know, playstyle and strategy, just hand in hand, are the #1 factors in getting down, not just learning how to do perfect fights, as in, you know, safe fights, but perfecting the speed and every little bit of block damage you can be really, really massive, especially in a mode like BG's. And yeah, that's all for this video. Take care, guys.